You know what's stopping a lot of people right now? It's not the lack of talent. It's not the lack of opportunity. It's not even the lack of faith. It's the belief that they have to become perfect before they start, perfect before they launch the business, perfect before they post the video, perfect before they apply for the job, perfect before they tell their story, perfect before God can use them. But what if I told you that perfection has never been God's requirement? What if the thing you've been waiting to fix about yourself is the very thing that God wants to use? Because when you read the Bible, you don't find perfect people. You find people with flaws, people with scars, people who made mistakes, people who doubted, people who failed. Yet God used them anyway. So if you've been beating yourself up because you're not where you want to be, this message is for you. Stay with me until the end because I want to share something that could completely change the way you see yourself and your future. We live in a world that constantly tells us we need to have everything together. Social media shows the highlight reels. People show the victories, but hide the struggles. They show the success, but not the sacrifice. The result is that everybody starts believing that everyone else is doing better than they are. Everyone else looks stronger. Everyone else looks smarter. Everyone else looks more qualified. But the truth is, nobody's perfect. The people you admire have struggles. The people you follow have insecurities. The people you look up to have made mistakes. The difference is they didn't allow their imperfections to stop them from moving forward. And that's what you have to understand. Progress is more important than perfection. Growth is more important than perfection. Consistency is more important than perfection. Think about it. Moses struggled with speaking. David made serious mistakes. Rahab had a difficult past. Peter denied Jesus. Jonah ran from God's calling. Paul persecuted Christians before becoming one of the greatest apostles. None of these people were perfect, not one. Yet, God used them to impact generations. Why? Because God isn't looking for perfection. He's looking for obedience. He's looking for faith. He's looking for a willing heart. Many people are waiting to become perfect before answering God's call. But if perfection was required, nobody would qualify. Every person God used had flaws. Every person God used had weaknesses. Every person God used had moments of fear, and God worked through them anyway. One mistake doesn't define your life. One failure doesn't determine your future. One bad season doesn't cancel God's plan. Some of you are carrying guilt from years ago. You still replay conversations. You still think about opportunities you've missed. You still remember moments when you failed. But God is not asking you to live in yesterday. He's calling you forward. You cannot drive towards your future while staring in the rearview mirror. At some point, you have to let it go. Learn the lesson, take responsibility, grow from it, and keep moving. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to lose joy. Someone will always seem further ahead. Someone will always have more money. Someone will always have more followers. Someone will always appear more successful. But you don't know their story. You don't know what they sacrificed. You don't know what battles they fought. God didn't call you to become them. Your lane is enough. Your journey matters. Your story has value. Run your race. Stay focused. Trust the process. Some of the strongest people are the ones who survive the hardest battles. Some of the most inspiring stories come from people who were counted out. Some of the greatest testimonies come from painful seasons. The cracks in your life do not disqualify you. They often become the place where God's light shines through. Your pain can become purpose. Your struggle can become strength. Your testimony can become somebody else's breakthrough. Maybe you're trying to lose weight. Maybe you're building a business. Maybe you're creating content. Maybe you're rebuilding your finances. Maybe you're just simply trying to become a better person. Keep showing up, even when it's hard, even when nobody notices, even when progress is slow. The people who win aren't always the most talented. They're often the people who refuse to quit. I want you to hear this. You do not have to be perfect to be valuable. You do not have to be perfect to be loved. You do not have to be perfect to have purpose. And you do not need to be perfect for God to use you. If God only used perfect people, the Bible would be empty. But instead, it's filled with ordinary people who trust in an extraordinary God. So stop waiting until you're perfect. Stop waiting until everything is figured out. Stop waiting until every flaw disappears. Start where you are. Trust God with the process. Trust God with the growth. Trust God with the outcome. Because the truth is, nobody's perfect, but God can still do something incredible through you. And maybe the very thing that you've been calling your weakness is the thing that God is preparing to use for his greatest purpose in your life. Don't quit. Your story isn't over yet.